Hi, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery in Indianapolis, Indiana.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Southgate, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Hey guys, we've loved answering all of your questions so far. If you'd like to hear your question on the podcast, please send them to us on Instagram at Wheel Talk Podcast or by email to wheeltalkpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks.
Hello, my friends. We're about to start the podcast, but it is my weekly duty to remind you that we have Wheel Talk mugs. If you would like to buy one, and we added free shipping, so it's less money for you. Let's see, they're on our website, wheeltalkpodcast.com, and the link is in our Instagram, or I guess you could probably just Google us or something. But anyway, Chris Birch made them. Hooray! And yay, cool. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoy the show. Okay, bye. Oh gosh, I almost forgot.
We're great. You forgot? We're good? We're live? I hope so.
Forgot. In 15 seconds.
Are you good?
Hello. Yeah, we're live.
Okay. I was like, we'll let you sync that up if you messed up.
Yeah, that's fine. Hello, Ryan.
Hi, Becca.
How you doing?
Not too bad. I was about to say whatever I normally say, and I can't remember what I normally say now. But whatever. Yeah, I had you waiting for an extra 30 minutes while I was eating my cardboard pizza. So
That's Totino's for anybody that's not familiar. The best cardboard on all the planet. Yeah,
yes.
but it was okay because I was editing the podcast while you were eating.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, you've been doing pretty well at getting ahead of the game and getting it up there.
Yeah, I've
A
been
few
coming
days
down here
before
at
instead
9
of
o'clock.
Friday.
Yeah, I've been trying to get down here at 9 o'clock to edit before you get on. But today I forgot my keys. So I had to go all the way back upstairs and then come back down. Anyway, today, you. Hi. How are you?
I'm doing good. So let's see. What did I do today? Back to work after a long weekend. We had Friday and Monday off, so long Memorial Day weekend. And I always get overwhelmed the first day back after. Well, first off, there's so many emails to get through, and then I feel like I do nothing throughout the day because I'm just catching up. So work was kind of work, and then just did small stuff around the studio, like unloaded a kiln and trying to get a list ready for what I want to throw this week, and then trying to get ready for a restock, and did some social stuff for the mug drop that we're doing for Wheel Talk tomorrow. So by the time you hear this, they're going to be live, but the pre-order mugs are going live here, and trying to get the site ready and get the Patreon folks ready to get their all the info for them. So yeah,
Hurrah.
nothing crazy going on, but I did find out something last night that I was looking up. It was like a late night just Googling and stuff. So, well, you were here this weekend, and we went to the creek and stuff. And then I was looking up because I was trying to see where our property actually ends, and I ended up looking it up on the zoning. And it doesn't go down to the creek. I think I've said it goes down to the creek. It does not. That way it goes just 10 or 15 feet into the woods. But if you go over to the side of the house, it goes further in. It goes probably 50 or 75 feet into the woods.
Yeah, but I mean, for the creek's sake, your property goes down to the creek. I mean, let's be honest. I've been down there. Nobody's fucking going down there.
Yeah, and the person that owns it is the guy who used to own this house. So he had two plots of land, and he owns the house across the way and a whole lot more land. So I feel like nobody, we're not doing anything crazy down there. We're just setting a path and cutting a little bit of stuff down and whatnot. So I'm still going to experiment and do some stuff, but nothing crazy.
Right.
But yeah, I found that out. and you visited.
Like-
That was a good weekend.
That was a great weekend. For everybody that participated in the pot swap.
Pot swap.
For
Official.
participating in the pot swap, we've been talking about going on like a really nice dinner, and we finally did it. I even dressed up in the most dressy way I could.
Yeah, I was like,
And-
Becca, you might have to close your toesies. Like, you might not be able to have your toesies out. But it's funny because women don't need to wear like closed-toed shoes. You can wear open-toed shoes and it's still appropriate. But for men, it's like
One time I didn't get a job because I wore sandals to the interview
Really?
at Home Goods.
Really? How do you know it was specifically because of that?
Because she told me that.
Oh, really?
I called and I was like, I'm just checking in. And she was like, just so you know, you shouldn't be wearing sandals to an interview. And I was like,
Oh.
what the fuck? Like,
Said, so I guess I didn't get the job. I mean, I'm not going to wear sandals when I work there.
it's Home Goods. Like in 2008, when they were the minimum wage was probably in California. It was what, I don't know, $6.75. Like, sorry.
But it was good. You could wear your fancy shoes. You wore something nicer than I've seen you wear normally. So
Indeed. I got
Yeah, it
all
was
my
great.
clothes from Rebecca.
yeah, you said this outfit is thanks to Rebecca.
Yeah, because she lost a lot of weight, so she just gave me all of her old clothes. And I was like, sweet. The pants that I was wearing, there's like $100 pants. Like, never in my life
And
would
they
I
look
ever...
comfy.
They're fucking comfortable. Never in my life would I ever wear $100 pants or buy $100 pants.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. The
That'll
What'd
keep us
you-
coming
what'd you
back
do
for pot
yesterday?
swap the next year. Keep us going for pot swap.
yeah,
What did I do yesterday? Is that what you said?
yeah.
I'm trying to think what did I do yesterday?
Do anything fun?
I spent time in the studio. What else did I do? Oh, I went golfing.
Oh right. Okay.
I went
Yeah.
golfing yesterday. Yeah.
Did you win?
I played by myself. I did okay. I didn't do great. I mean, it was pretty slow and stuff, but yeah, it was my first time going out, so I played a par 3, which I always am not as good. Well, I wanted to ease into it because, for one, I didn't want to spend as much money my first time out, and
Yeah.
it would probably be a slow day because it was a holiday, so I figure a lot of people are golfing that day, and I just booked a reservation the day before, and I don't know. I feel rushed if I'm like by myself and I get put with another group, because if you go to a more popular course, I'm probably going to be thrown with a group of 3 or something, so that there's 4 together.
Oh.
So you don't really want to go back to back with a group. Like, if you're in a group of 4 ahead of you and a group of 2 behind you, you don't want to be like up single by yourself, because it's just
Yeah.
not good sportsmanship or whatever to like. Because you're going to be right on the ass of the group of 4, because you can hit a ball and be right up to
Right.
your ball really quickly, and then the group of 2 has to wait until you're 2 shots ahead before they can hit, so they don't hit you. So it's best to like group up with people if you can, so that you can get in a group of at least 3 or 4. If it's
So
like
did you-
busy.
Were
But it
you
was
with
a-
a group?
No, it was a par 3 course, so it wasn't as busy, and I went at like 11:30 in the 11:30. A lot of people got out earlier because it was a little warmer, but there wasn't as many people on the course, so the front 9 it was kind of busy, and then the back 9 there was a group of like 7 in a family that were ahead of us, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they must be taking forever. So like there wasn't too many people like right on my ass behind me, so I would like go back and play another hole and play the same hole twice, or
Oh,
you know,
nice.
I did that like 3 times just because
You could.
like it's a shorter course, and you're not gonna like lose a ball if you go play another par 3 again, because it's
Yeah.
like it's pretty quick. So I was trying not to hold people up, but also enjoy it a little bit, so I'm not just sitting there. Get to a hole and you just sit there for like 6 minutes until they're done.
Yeah.
Because most par threes you can't tee off because usually they're on the green and you can generally hit the green off the tee. So you want to wait until they're to the next hole completely.
Sure. Sure.
So yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I don't know anything you just said, but that's fine. I'm sure somebody does.
You know Heidi golfs?
What? Heidi golfs?
Golfs? Yeah.
You know, she is very tall, and I don't know why I associate tall people with golfing, but you're not tall, and you golf, so I did not know Heidi golfs.
Yeah.
My mom golfed. She was on the golf team in high school.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I think
and she had
Rachel's
to get
mom was
special
actually.
clubs. Yeah, she had to get special clubs because she's only 5'1".
Oh, really? So there's like shorter clubs?
Yeah. Well, now she's 4'11" because she shrunk. So.
Oh, wow.
She might have just been 5 foot. I don't know. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So, nice. Golf.
Oh, and I made a mistake. Like, I feel like you shouldn't have given us the Disney login. I spent like 3 hours or 5 hours watching Disney yesterday.
I don't think that's a mistake. I don't know. I don't think that's a mistake at all. What'd you watch?
So you logged in because we watched Cruella over the weekend while you were here,
yeah.
which was actually good. I liked it. And then yesterday I watched Phantom of the Megaplex, which is an old Disney Channel original. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I watched the TV show, the Mighty Ducks TV show. I watched like 6 episodes of it.
Nice.
So that's where I got through it. But I was doing like some computer work here, but I kept turning around because I can't like see the screen. So I was like,
you should get a little mirror so that you can see the screen.
Yeah. I was like, can I turn my computer around? Or maybe I'll just work on a laptop from the seat.
Yeah.
And then I can kind of like glance over. So
I've been watching Star Trek.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I saw there was a lot on. You're talking about Paramount, right?
On Paramount, yeah. I guess I should mention now. I'm seeing a human, not the last human that I saw, but now I'm seeing a new human that really likes Star Trek, and I actually really like Star Trek too. And I was like, I should probably get like refreshed.
There's a lot of Star Trek on there. Are you
There's
watching
a
like
fucking ton.
old Star Trek, or are you watching like a new series?
What?
Or
When I like commit to something, I commit to the whole thing, Ryan. I start at the very beginning.
Wow.
No matter how cringy it is, no matter how fucking ugly and terrible William Shatner is, I will commit. He's not that ugly, I guess, but he is fucking cringeworthy.
Are those actually like pretty like it's like episodic, I'm guessing, the old ones?
No, so in the beginning it's not episodic actually. So I don't know why, but I was informed that at the beginning in the early seasons that they had to make every single episode their own entity. Just
for
like MASH.
Just for entertainment purposes, so that they
I think
could,
so,
like,
because it's
keep
on
people coming
TV.
back. Yeah.
Because like if you didn't see the last week's,
yeah.
So I think it's just like MASH, it's kind of like a sitcom, as you will. And so they would reuse a lot of the stuff, like a lot of the storylines. I'm like, what the fuck? We just talked about this like 20 minutes ago. Mm-hmm. But it's been good, though. I'm excited to get to the ones that have like actual costumes. So
Actual costume.
yeah.
So it's just kind of quirky, right? It's just kind of
it's just kind of quirky. It's cheesy, but it's fine. It's good to see like the storyline kind of develop, because even though it's not episodic, is that what you said?
Episodic, like
episodic.
Episodic.
Yeah. Even though it's not that, it still gives a lot of like information that is good for the future. So.
Or maybe that's the wrong name. Maybe it's not episodic. Maybe I'm thinking serialized, like.
Ooh, a serial.
Episodic.
But fret not. I'm going to make him watch MASH. I already made him watch one episode, so I'm going to...
Series of Containing or consisting a series of loosely connected parts or events.
Oh, but I have a funny story while you're looking it up. So, also, today I went to the eye doctor, and you already know what's going to happen.
Yes.
So today I went to the eye doctor, and I haven't been to the eye doctor in probably 2 years, and I was sitting in the chair, and the eye doctor came in after, like, his nurse, whatever, like, did all the things, and he was, like, looking at the computer, looking at stuff, so I was kind of making small talk, and then I was like, I said something. I was like, I don't want to, I said, so as a dentist, do you, like, have a lot of debt?
Okay, rewind. What did you say?
I said, so as a dentist, do you have a lot of debt from school? Like, do you have to pay a lot for school? And then I was like, I mean, an eye person.
How old was this guy?
Oh, in his 30s.
Oh, okay. Did he laugh it off? Or did he, like, take it super seriously? Like,
No, he
I'm
didn't
not
take
a
it super-
dentist.
He didn't take it super seriously. I was like, I'm sorry. I mean an eye doctor. And he's like an optometrist. And I'm like, yeah. I think he was kind of offended. But the reason I said dentist was because I've been really stressed about the fact that I need to find a dentist. And I've also been stressed about needing to find an eye doctor, and I finally found an eye doctor, and I, like, literally looked up the time today, and they had time today, so, like, I was, like, looking on the internet, and then I booked the appointment for today, and so it was very rushed.
Wow.
And so I just kind of, like, moved past it.
I thought you were going to sit down and be like, man, the last time I was at a dentist was about 4 years ago, and he's like, okay.
No, I straight up called him a dentist. Oh, God.
Did you have to get your pupils dilated?
No, because they, now they can do this retinal scanning thing. You have to pay a little bit more, but they take, like, images of your inside eyeballs.
Right. That's why I don't do it, because I don't want to pay more.
You should do it.
I've done it before, and they're like, hey, they already scan you, and then they're like, okay, you can either take what we did and, like, get it developed, or we can dilate your eyes.
Yeah, basically you're paying for the doctor to tell you what's wrong, not the picture.
Right.
But, like, the only reason that Rebecca found out that she had this certain autoimmune disease is because she got the retinal scanning. And it can actually, like, I wouldn't recommend it all the times, but, we have such good technology now, like, for, like, 4-year-olds. I'm not going to get it the next time,
Yeah.
But, like, once, whatever, $40.
Oh, that's not that bad. But, I mean,
No.
your insurance, or if you have health money or whatever, you can pay for it.
It was $40 outside of insurance, but I felt very lucky because I have the shittiest insurance that Indiana can provide. Like the state insurance. What is it called? Care Source Bronze. And I have dental and vision with it, and I pay a little bit extra for that. And I found out why today. So, it turns out to be really good. They pay $250
towards your lenses or whatever,
and lenses and frames. So like in the past,
250 each, or total, like together.
Yeah. But that's still like a lot of money. Like,
that's good. Yeah,
like I've never had that much of a discount before personally, and so I could get like a really nice lens for $250, and then I just gave them my old frames, and that was free. So and then I ordered some of my frames because I get frames from Gooder. They're sunglasses, and those are $25. So I just got those, and then when I go in, I'll just have them replace the lenses.
Yeah, that's great.
So, I could have gone with like the cheaper lenses, and it would be like $140, and then you have to get the frames from them, and that's like $120, and then it would have been more, and I'd have to spend more,
Yeah.
you know. So, and
Yeah,
I don't like cheap frames. Like, I'm not a cheap frame
Yeah.
person.
Yeah,
So.
we've had some situations with the eye doctors before, just like certain ones we went to that, like the eye appointment stuff is nothing. Like that's as usual. I feel like once you get to the actual like talking with the people about the lenses and shit, that's where it's
Yeah.
like the gimmick there. That's where they're
Right.
like, we know your insurance is paying for it, but we're gonna like nickel and dime you. And that's where I just feel, we had a thing where I went in, I was keeping my frames, right? Because I bought frames like 4 years ago or
Right.
whatever, and they're still good, and that I didn't break them or anything. So it's like, I just want to get updated, like prescription
Lenses, yeah.
and it's like we get at least 200 or 250 or whatever, and I'm like, this is what I need. Figure it out. There's no way updated lenses cost $200, right? It's like I'm just replacing what's in there. I'm not getting transitions or anything fancy like that. It's just
Mine were
regular.
$250 just for regular fucking lenses.
Really.
Yeah, but I mean, it covered it. I mean, like, I was not planning
Yeah.
on spending any
Yeah.
money.
Yeah,
So-
and they ended up like saying we owed like $80, and I'm like, that is not fucking possible. Like, there's no way 2 lenses for basic eye prescription with nothing
Yeah.
fancy, maybe anti-protective coating or whatever, anti-glare.
Right.
Like, there's no way that costs $300. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then we went back and forth, and you figure all that shit out, so we just stopped going to that place. But
Yeah. For reals, though. It's like they nickel and dime you, and I get it, though, because, they don't get very much money. Like the eyeglass place, they don't get them from the frames.
I mean, they could just do
I
eye
don't know.
exams, and they could probably cut out all of the. I mean, that's where they probably make most of their profit off the lenses and stuff. And
They do.
They give you
make
the immediate,
almost all their
like,
profit off of that.
Here's what you look like, and you bring the kids in for school, and they get to see what they look like, and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's a whole thing. But yeah,
But,
he
I
was
mean, the
really good
doctor-
about it, too. He
The
was
doctor
really
probably
good about
doesn't
it.
care about that
No.
side of the business. He's like, "Are you taken care of? And
Mm-hmm.
are you happy with my service?" And
Right. Yeah. But they were good. They didn't try to, they didn't try to upsell me. He basically was like, we've got 2 options. Here you go.
Mhm.
And I was like, great. I don't want to spend any money. Here's my glasses. So,
yeah. I mean, they're
that
still
worked
getting
out.
paid. It's like they want a
Yeah.
little extra.
sure. I'm more than happy to spend up to exactly what the insurance.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, sure, bill the insurance for as much money as you possibly can.
Exactly.
care.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what happened today.
Sweet.
Yep.
Were you back to work today, or you worked yesterday? Or
Oh
not?
yeah, I went in because I get yesterday off, but I went in because I want to take Thursday off. So,
Nice.
um,
Okay.
because I already had a 4-day weekend, like I had Thursday off, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then
Mhm.
yeah. So, and if I take Thursday off,
Plus, there was probably nobody in there yesterday, right?
and it was easy to get stuff done, and we're like almost running out of clay. I guess Kentucky Mounderworks ran out of the clay that we have, so they're making some. It's just in a couple weeks. So we even have, like, right now, I was like, oh, so you're telling me I should take a light week?
I got a little Mudworks inside scoop that I heard when I was getting my Mudworks clay at Queen City recently.
Can you say it?
Yeah, I think so. They said, I mean, they were just telling us. Well, they were saying, I think they're in the process of getting a second mixer
Oh, cool.
so that they can actually do 2 different clay bodies at the same time, because
Nice.
typically, I don't know how many pounds they do at a time, but you can imagine that humongous clay mixer going from a white Iceman to a brown bear is not easy. And
Yeah.
they got to completely do big batches of lighter clays at once and porcelains and whatever, and then switch over. But their demand has gone up, so where something that might have went through a cycle of making a clay for 3 days, they make it for 5 days. So
Yeah,
that just pushes everything else back, you know?
yeah. Rebecca said that their sales were up 25% this last quarter.
Wow.
So since the beginning of the year, so which was not expected. But I also feel like that's been happening for like 2 years. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think people realize that they've been having to wait for stuff. So,
yeah,
like when my batch came in, I was waiting for 1,000 pounds, and then it came into Queen City finally after like 3 months. I think I was asking them in like February, March, and it finally came in. I went to Mudworks twice in the meantime and got it directly from them. Luckily, I'm within 2 hours, and I just get it in Louisville. But yeah, it finally came in, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and get it since I don't have to drive as far. I'm just gonna get it from, I can find a place to put 20 boxes of clay.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, obviously it's a good problem to have, but they're just booming. And like,
Right.
Like just every quarter it's like more and more and more. And like, shit, we did not plan for this. Like, it just keeps going up and up and up. So,
yeah, they said they're looking to get a better handle on it by like July, I think.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
So maybe that's when the mixer's coming in around that time, and they're gonna get back up to speed and stuff. So yeah, good problem to have, like you said.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I mean that paired with product just sparsity right now,
Raw material
because of COVID. Woof. So
yeah,
can't really win on that end.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of places getting their like Amico stock in too. So
yeah,
they've been delivering some things out, and I know Clay King got some, and Mudworks got some, and I'm sure some other places got their Amico stock, and people are stocking up.
Oh, it must be nice not to use Amico at all.
You probably got enough like underglaze if you had to, like, if Mako had issues. I mean, you don't use a ton of it at once, so
I have plenty. I need a little bit more stroke and coats, but I have plenty. Should I?
No, you should wait.
Okay.
We're at like 26 minutes, so.
Okay. Do you want to?
Oh, mention my news?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so by this time everybody's going to know it publicly, but the big news that I've been waiting to, and some of these answers on Instagram, since I was like, tell me what you think the news is. Some of the answers are funny. So I got invited from Etsy. They reached out to myself and 19 other makers that sell on Etsy to sell as part of their Etsy market. It's like a trial that they're doing in the United States. It's like a virtual market that they're doing just through the Etsy app. So during a 2-day period, June 14th and 15th, they're doing special things in the app just for the market. So it's like the makers are staggered over the 2 days that they're going to actually be like demoing their processes. So, 10 people will demo on the 14th, 10 people will demo on the 15th. I'm doing a wheel demonstration for like 30 minutes, and it's kind of like, it's basically like an Instagram live. And then people can be in the app and interacting, sending comments and stuff. And then they can like go to the site, go to the shop and watch. They could watch the replays of each of our demos, and then they can like go to each of our shops and see our featured items. And, while our demo's going on, we have a selection of featured items that we can choose what we want to be highlighted. So yeah, that was pretty like interesting. I don't know how they found me, but yeah, somebody reached out to me and was like, hey, we're from Etsy and we're interested in having you for this market. It's virtual. Usually I'm kind of like, meh, virtual markets aren't worth it, but this is like Etsy. So I'm like, I mean, I'm one of 20 people. I'm definitely going to fucking do it. And there's no other potters in there.
What can you lose?
So it's like, why not?
Yeah, for sure.
So it doesn't cost me anything to do it. It's just my time of, I did have to do a little bit of like prep with, filling out some questions about myself or doing like a little, what are you going to do with like a little rubric of what I'm going to demo. And I demo all the time. So like, that's nothing for me.
Yeah.
And then I'm asking questions like, hey, can you, when somebody's in the thing, would it be cool if you could like show that somebody bought something in the chat or something like that. And I'm like giving them feedback of like what would be cool for people to see while the demo is going on. And she's like, oh, let me tell our engineers, or let me ask them this or ask them that. So yeah, they're trying it out for the first time only in the US, and yeah, it should be fun. So
Hooray!
We'll see.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. That's why I'm like prepping this restock behind the scenes a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get like a whole bunch of mugs and the shot glasses ready, the air plants, the bottles, all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to try and get them on there before. I don't want to time it where everything goes live when that goes live, because I'm more of like a trickle sales anyways.
Yeah.
So I'll probably make it live this week and then see
What's
how
the
things
date?
sell. The dates are June 14th and 15th.
Okay. Is that a Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's during the week. And then it kind of runs like, I think the actual demos are like 1 to 5, but people can like see it throughout the day and like look at the replays and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said they're going to do a push notification on the Etsy app. So anybody that has the Etsy app is going to see a push notification on June 1st, I think.
Nice.
That says, hey, we have this event coming up, and they can like go to the event page that's going to show our stuff. Or maybe it's just going to be a push to say, hey, look out for this. But yeah.
Yeah.
Should be fun. I'm hoping I get a lot of sales out of it.
I hope you do too.
Yeah, I got a feeling I'm going to be packing up some boxes
Hooray!
that week, which is great.
That'll be good. Okay. So to start, I thought that I would enter a, not a question, kind of a question, but right before we started the podcast, somebody actually came on, and I'm not going to mention their name. I'm sure I could, but I'm not going to. And they asked this question. So how do you respond to something like this? Is the best choice to just ignore it? And it's a picture of her pot. She was holding her pot. And,
Is it a public post with a public comment?
It was a post in a clay group.
Oh, so it was like
makes
a Facebook group or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which makes it almost even better, this moment. And it says, and the comment from, we'll call him Clay, from Clay, from Clay Aiken.
So clever.
From Clay says, damn, but I love that design. I apologize, but I'm going to have to try something similar. And so she was like, how would you respond? And I was like, oof. I didn't realize it was in a clay group. I think I maybe would have responded differently if I had known that. But I said, usually that's when like the snarky Becca comes out.
He's like in the weeds with other people that are like definitely going to see his comment.
He is definitely in the weeds. So, and then I said, at first I was like, why apologize? The intent is clear. And then I was like, okay, this is what I think I would say in a more politically petty way. Say, hi, Clay. I appreciate the compliment. What I would recommend is that you do try something similar. Try it and keep it forever. Don't sell it unless you would like to give me a cut. Then by all means, use the knowledge and wisdom that I have passed on through this piece and create something more that suits your own creative style instead of mine. So, we were just kind of like went on after that, how it's kind of like a conundrum, how to approach comments like that sometimes. And I just thought I would share what I would say, which is not necessarily like,
if it's a clay group, I feel like other people will stick up for you a little bit and like reply.
Yeah, but I think it's, especially in a clay group, it's like, yeah, sure, try it. Don't fucking sell it though. Like, don't be, like, try it and make it something that's yours, you know?
Yeah.
So
push it a little further than what I've done and see what you can figure out.
Exactly. So I just thought I'd share that. And yes.
Yeah, I like the second response.
It's very political. Yeah. Okay, what are you going to do?
I had a what would you do if?
Okay.
So, we haven't done this in a while. What would you do if you overfired a bisque load to glaze temp?
Well, I've done that.
Okay. So what did you do, or what would you do differently? Or
Well, it was my very first firing ever, and I glazed them as usual, and they probably turned out like shit. But now, if I was going to do it, I would probably just toss the whole load.
Yeah.
I might.
Does it actually? I'm guessing it still has an absorption, but it's so low that it doesn't actually like do much to hold that. It's just a
Right.
waste of glaze, right? Like, is it really worth risking?
A whole load? Like, are we
That would
talking
fucking
like...
blow. Like a stack. Imagine stacking the kiln. And it, oh my god, tumble
like-
stacking the kiln, and it would go all the way to go. I could totally see that happening though. I was like, oh my gosh, all I got to do is do, inner program user 2 instead of user 1, and it's like the program. I mean, I always do all the inners and go through all the steps and the segments, but like that could totally happen, especially with an electronic kiln.
Yeah. That's why you always review your program, guys. Always review your
Yes.
program. I think that it depends on what it was, and it depends on how much money I was going to lose. If it was fancy cups, and it was like 40 of them, I would probably just do stroke and coats on the inside and stroke and coats on the outside, and I might do underglaze, but probably stroke and coats because
Yeah.
those both do fine on already fired clay.
They would already look. Would they already have design on them through the first firing, or no?
No.
No. Okay. I mean, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, is there a glaze you could line it with that would look good, and then you could just fire it so that you have a liner, and then you can sell them
Yeah.
as like one-off.
Yeah, if you're painting glaze, it's almost fine because you could just coat the inside especially. I think that's what I'd probably do. So if I would just coat, like if it was just regular pots and I fired the entire kiln, I'd probably just coat the inside of the pieces so that they're good on the inside, and then kind of like maybe lightly sand the outside and sell them as smooth cups.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely not want to waste all that glaze.
Yeah.
I don't think I would even do that, just because I don't sell that kind of thing. But I was thinking I'd probably crush it up and use it as like plant filler for like planters and stuff, like
Yeah.
outside planters, or put it in like a garden bed, like underneath something.
Or you could use it as your new walkway down to the creek.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that, about different things to do for that. I was like, I don't think salt would work. I think that'd be a waste of a lot of salt. And then I was like, maybe mulch. And I was like, that'd be a lot of mulch.
And slippery. I was thinking about mulch too. It's slippery.
And then, yeah. And then I read some things about like 2-foot sticks. You cut sticks up into 2 feet sections and you lay it down perpendicular to the walkway, and it's not as muddy. And I also found out some stuff about the slope, that depending on the pitch or something, you're not supposed to have it go straight down, because then it's going to be a mud pit, which is basically what it is at the end of that one area. So I might need to veer off of that and go a different route so it's not so straight down, because the water just collects and it's a mess.
Correct. I would be, if it was just a bunch of shitty cups, I'd toss them. I would toss them quicker than quick. It's not worth the hassle.
Yeah, the time.
If it took me 3 weeks to throw that load, I would have a lot harder time like answering this question.
Yeah, I think I would. I might keep a couple just to like test with glaze and see like what is possible. And then I would definitely go cautiously through it. Like, try it with a couple, see what happens. If it looks good or if it doesn't. If it doesn't look good, I'm not gonna use this fuck up as a force me into like experiment session where I just try out a bunch of random shit on pots and hope that I salvage something that like I'm not excited about. It's just gonna keep reminding me of my fuck up.
Right.
And I'm like, are people gonna like this? Do I even care? Let's just like kill a lot of it.
You can always take it to a gun range. Like, just drop them off. Have fun.
Do people just toss pots up in the air?
I don't know. I mean, it's basically a clay pigeon.
Yeah. I feel like there's an area outdoors that you could just smash them up and put them somewhere.
Not that I'm really a fan of guns nowadays, but, whatever.
You could find some use. You could find some use for them, I feel like, even if you smashed it.
Or you could plant pots in them. You could use them in your own way and like just plant pots in them.
That's actually not a bad idea. Maybe you line like a nice pot and you put it inside so you can't even see it. It's just like holding the
If
plant.
you drilled a hole in the bottom like you do, you could make them all planters and then just paint them with acrylic paint on the outside.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or if you have kids, maybe have your kids do it.
Yeah,
or
have your kids
you
paint
have
it like a
family,
big...
give it to them. Just be like, hey, here's some clay pots. Do whatever you want with them. I don't care, but I don't want any part of the process afterwards. Like,
Exactly.
you don't want to have to fire them or anything, but just like, here you go. I made them.
Don't use them for food. Have fun. Yeah.
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 That's a good idea.
Indeed.
Kid projects.
Okay. Moving on. God damn it. There's a sticker on my computer and it keeps like, it's got like the corners up and like my ADD cannot handle this. Okay. Our next question. Actually, this is going to be like our overarching topic. It says, "Hi, Becca and Ryan. How often do you guys introduce new styles and items to your customers? I focus on painting nature mugs, but also add in basic pieces and that are just quick to make, one glaze, cheaper pieces to create price diversity and hit a larger audience. I often, however, get caught in the trap of wanting to explore too much and find a lack of consistency in the items I am selling. I use lots of different glaze colors, different painted subject matter, mug body styling, and ... From a business standpoint, I want to create consistency in the customer's experience and make sure everything looks cohesive. From an artist standpoint, also ADHD as fuck, I want to explore and have a difficult time sticking to just one thing. How important do you think it is to maintain the same products? Or is it just as valuable to keep things fresh and add new items to keep people interested? Appreciate any nuggets of wisdom. Love listening to the podcast on Saturdays during dedicated pottery times. At Speckled
Pottery times. Love it.
Yeah. And the name is Speckled Mountain Ceramics.
Yeah.
I already have an
Look them
idea.
up.
And I don't want to forget it. So if I don't mention Forest Ceramic Company, remind me later.
Okay.
Speckled.
Everybody's looking up Speckled Mountain. Speckled Mountain.
I love how it
Ceramics.
just becomes this. Can we? Oh my God! Can we have a critique? Can we have like a critique section where like people just like, oh, can we do that? Where people just like input their information and then we look over their things and then give them
Constructive criticism?
yes.
We could.
Can we do that? If you guys want to do that, we should do that.
You should tell us in messages or something that you're interested, and then we'll put in time to figure out what that means exactly.
Lindy and or Ashley, do a poll when you hear this.
Are you gonna be? Are you gonna be?
Peppers.
Are you gonna be Becca Judgment Zone, or are you gonna be? By the way, what happened to Judgment Zone?
I forgot.
Or are you gonna be like constructive?
Did you expect it to last more than 2 weeks?
I don't know.
Nothing
Probably
I
had
ever
my
do
hopes up.
lasts more than 2 weeks.
I'm like, man, I can't do this thing once. I feel like a failure. People are gonna expect it.
First of all, let's talk about how cute your dog is. Next, your mugs are adorable. Okay, so you are also adorable. Okay, now we've got that out of the way.
Okay, so introducing new styles to your customers. Painting nature mugs. So she does a lot of painterly stuff. She's drawing like animals on them
And mushrooms.
and there are different glazes that can pair with them.
And there's some sgraffito going on. Those are adorable.
Yeah. I mean, the way I'm looking at it, it seems like her style is not just animals, let's say. You know, it's glaze paired with raw clay and some painterly illustration.
Right.
So for me, like, I feel like you have a lot of possibilities in that space if that's what you enjoy doing the most. I don't see any I do see some bowls that are carved a little bit that are kind of more simple compared to the painterly stuff, but
I see some more simple bowls and stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you have a lot of options in there if you like that illustrative with the glaze combos.
Yeah, that's a style. Like, that's a straight style.
Yeah, and there's
And
like
that's
series
so,
you can do. That's kind of like a pitch pine sort of vibe where it's,
but
they have certain
not.
time. They have certain
Yeah.
times that they focus on, you know, these specific animals and this color combination, and then they kind of change to a different series. Kind of like how painters do different series at a time, and they focus on certain things, and then they change and evolve. But that's kind of the vibe for people out there that are trying to understand what
What's
they're looking
going
at
on.
for their work.
Or you could just go look at their profile and follow them.
Yeah.
You know.
There you go. And this could be only what she posts on social too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe she makes a whole other line of work that she doesn't share as much.
Yeah. Start shopping. Okay. So on your shop, you have a lot of your mugs with the mushrooms and the things, and wow, look at how much you've improved. I love watching people's like progression from the beginning of their Instagrams to like later on in Instagram. You know, like when they like find their thing.
Yeah. And like their handle progression, and
Yeah.
that's definitely a big one.
That Screech Owl mug, wow. Okay, so I think, let's see, I'm going back to the question. But as far as like the simple pieces are concerned, I think that you should, in my opinion, my very unprofessional opinion, I think that using your creativity in that artist brain to do like the drawings and the fun things that we've been seeing mostly of, and then making those other pieces consistent. Like, you can make the drawings as inconsistent as you want, as long as they're kind of like in the same zone, as you were saying, like with Pitch Pine, you know? As long as you have that same quote unquote feel. But then you can make your, I'm going to say boring pieces, not that they're boring, but you know, basic
Your
bitch
basic
pieces.
Yeah.
Those I think would be good to focus on, like making them more consistent, because if you make those consistent within sizes, like, you know, make one thing, like one size of bowls, one basic bitch mug, and don't make plates. Plates don't sell. Or unless you do like spoon rests or whatever, and something else, whatever. But like what I would do, especially because it looks like, I don't know, like I mean, it doesn't look like you've been doing this for years and years and years, but
What was her first post? When was it?
first post was February of 2021, and that looks like a fairly new pot.
Oh yeah, she's still.
You're still a babe.
Yeah, maybe.
You're still a baby potter. So, you know, work on that line of regular pieces and work on your technical skills to make those as consistent as possible. Measure them, weigh them, do one glaze or do two glazes or whatever, you know. Make them basic and take those to shows, and then really work on those and like really let your creativity go wild when it comes to the more artsy stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking about. You've obviously seen the growth in the mugs, right? The mugs have been consistently progressing, getting better, and then you put the illustrations on there. So I would go the route of, like you're saying, figure out what forms, especially like you're saying you want to experiment new things. I would say experiment the different forms that you like, whether it's like a shallow bowl or a regular cereal bowl or, a vase, maybe like bud vases or something, or pitchers or something like that, and figure out how to make them as best quality as you can and get better and better. And then from there, use those as like a blank canvas. Once you've got the form to a good quality, I feel like you don't want like super bottom heavy vases, and then you spend time to illustrate them, and then, they're not as great quality.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you could come to a situation where they don't sell because they're, you say like basic pot with a simple glaze, and it won't sell, but you kind of want to get them out the door so that you can keep iterating on the form.
Right.
Or maybe you use them for experiments on like different surfaces, because
Right.
The illustrations work on certain surfaces like bulbous mugs, or a bud vase or something like that has a nice canvas to work off of.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to have a good form underneath the design. You don't want the design to be the only, the main drive here for somebody to buy it necessarily. At least I wouldn't want to. If you care about the quality of the piece first and foremost.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's also important to it's important to figure out what your goal is, your end goal. Because, okay, I was thinking of my two studio mates, Merritt and Sarah, Merritt Metzger and Sarah Anderson Ceramics. And they both stick to their style, and they do not waver. Like, they're like, nope, this is it. This is what I'm doing. I'm not doing basic bitch pottery. You're paying $120 for this mug. Like, full stop,
Mm-hmm.
But they also both have very concrete education behind them of pottery. Like, they've
already had a lot of repetition in there.
Yeah, they're very technically sound. But I do appreciate their stubbornness almost to not waver in that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
That sounds better.
Yeah. Discipline. I do appreciate their discipline to not waver in that. And I think that there's something to be said about people who make pots like this, because if you get noticed on a larger level, you won't have time to make the basic bitch pots, and that's fine. But having that basic knowledge behind you to to weigh out your clay and to make it more consistent will make it all the better. And even if that means you're I'm not going to make any basic bitch pots, but I am going to weigh out every single mug that I throw in this series, and they're all going to be the same weight, and I'm going to try to make them about the same size and in shape. That can even boost up that consistency from a different level.
Yeah. She kind of reminds me, her work kind of reminds me of Bat's Ceramics.
I was thinking that too.
Brooke. I was thinking about Brooke when we were looking at it, and I was like, let me go to her feed and see if I could scroll back and see if she had some basic bitch pots
Yeah.
But she went to school for painting. So her background is painting on canvas,
painting.
2-dimensional.
Yeah.
And
it
she
looks
came into clay.
It looks like Speckled Mountain Ceramics is probably in a similar case, because those paintings are fucking good. You don't just figure out how to paint like that.
Yeah, it looks like Brooke back in the day was doing some basic pots, and she was carving on them and getting some interesting glazes. But they were still very nature inspired. But then she was she leaned into the painterly aspects of her designs, and that's where you can. Yeah, I mean, I think the painterly aspect is definitely going to grab some attention, and the customization and the uniqueness, the one of a kind nature to it.
Yeah.
If you can find the right pairing of glaze with the form, with whatever kind of illustration you're going with, you can find a market for it for sure.
For sure. I was going to talk about Forest Ceramic Company. They do this thing that you may find interesting, or somebody listening might find interesting. They do this thing called the Lab on Fridays, and they do their regular production line for their, on their website and stuff like that, and launches and stuff. But then on some I don't know if it's every Friday or every other Friday or one Friday a month, they do what they call the Lab, and the Lab is full of all of their experiments for the month. And so it is just like one release on a Friday, and they're like, hey, this is all the stuff that we just tried. And we don't know if it'll stick, and we don't know if it won't, but
if you like it, get it.
If you like it, get it. If you don't,
keep
don't.
moving.
And so it's a good way to just kind of like do things that are a little bit out of your style, but still like have fun and experiment with things that are different.
That's like forced experimentation. That,
exactly.
When they build that consistency into their process, they're like, okay, we have to have something to put in the lab. We're not just going to take the month off and say, well, we didn't experiment this month because we didn't have time to. It's like, that the experimentation helps you grow.
Yeah, so like maybe you want to experiment in drawing a building, like something that's not naturally like one time, and you're like, oh, I want to like push myself to do this, and then you can be like, hey, this is a one of the kind. I don't guarantee that this will ever happen again, but I'm going to release these 4 mugs on Friday or whatever, so that might be something to think about too.
That's kind of where I was trying the this or that thing, where I was trying different glaze combinations, and then I only did it once, but I'm trying to figure out another time I can do it. Where I was like, I don't know if these glazes are going to be good, and then I kind of built in the vote for your favorite between these two, and then whichever one wins, I'm going to glaze a bunch of pieces in that, and you can order them. Mm-hmm. It kind of flopped the first time, to be honest. It really flopped the first time, to be honest. But it was pushing me to like experiment with glazes, because normally I am a very stick to the routine. Like, there's plenty of work to be done. I don't want to experiment because that adds unknown, and it adds extra time that's taken away from something I could be doing that I know has a good chance of selling. I'm a very disciplined person in that aspect of, I'm just going to focus on what I know works, and I don't experiment a lot. Like, those flasks are still sitting in my damp box. I still have not finished those. And I don't know that I'm going to finish them anytime soon. But, that's where it's like, I want to go into a making session where I know exactly what I'm getting myself into, what I'm planning for, how much time it's going to take me, what time is going to be involved in coming back to finish this thing tomorrow or the next day or whatever. So that's how I approach my studio time. I'm not really like I'm going to plan to go in here with no plans and just see what happens and experiment, because I'm not as comfortable in that aspect. But if it's like semi like organized, or like I've had something brewing in my mind and I'm like, okay, I'm going to set aside time to do this. I'll probably do it on like a weekend. That way I have a whole day. It's not just like a random evening, because it doesn't feel as productive for me to like experiment on a weeknight.
I just thought of something else.
Yeah, what is it?
Okay, I was thinking about how when I did my garage sale back in the day, and I think that might be a good way too if you are working on weirdo stuff, like whatever. Like weirdo stuff. Just I think that okay. So like pots like Speckled Mountain Ceramics pots are very like popular right now on the interwebs, right? And but it may not be as popular in person, or
the price points tougher
in person or whatever,
people,
which by the way you could sell them for more if you wanted to. I think that maybe if this was my it just got really quiet. If this was my work of art, or like work of body of work, I would potentially stick to on like, instead of just instead of just like limiting your ADHD as fuck self to making certain things, make whatever the fuck you want, but take all of the things that look cohesive and put those on the internet, and then take all of the stuff that's not cohesive, take those to shows, do maybe a garage set, like a garage type sale, like a knick-knack
Mystery
sale
box,
or
yeah.
mystery box or whatever. Because I do think that those like basic bitch pots and those things, like those are going to be important to.
That's like your foundation.
Yeah, you can't just make mugs. You got to make everything to really like build your foundation. Since we are talking
But do
about.
you?
Yes.
If you're talking about building a skill set as a potter, right?
Yeah. Also, you have to decide what you want in your future, right? Do you want to only make mugs forever and ever and ever, or do you?
Or maybe she really likes painting.
Or maybe you really like painting.
And she doesn't have a way to, or maybe there's not a way for her to sell paintings, and
Right.
mugs is a way that she's like, you know what, I was making mugs in this class that I was doing, and I decided to paint on them, and they sold.
Right.
And people showed interest, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna go that way. I don't know.
Yeah, and so also when you get famous, like, definitely be taking pictures of these animals that you're doing on these mugs or these mushrooms, because I don't know, I'm just kind of like spitballing right now, but like, you know, anyway, back to my original point. I would maybe make your online presence really cohesive, and that doesn't mean that your personal life and business life has to be cohesive, but you can make like what the world sees cohesive, you know, and you can experiment all the fucking whatever you want, you know, you're still a newbie. Like, are you doing this full time? Like, do you have a regular job? Do you have time and money to kind of like experiment? Then also with those little lovely creatures that you're making, the mushrooms, the owl, all the birds and stuff like that, you should be taking pictures of these or drawing the same things and be storing those. Just keep them stored. And the reason is that when and if, I guess, we're just going to say when you get famous, or when you start getting more and more and more, what you can be doing is making stickers out of those drawings that you're doing, and those can be sold at shows for $5 a pop. And that can be your easy money, you know? So that can be a very passive income for you at shows. People fucking love stickers, and if they can't afford a $60 mug, you can be like, you know, I have that right here on a sticker that you can put on your fucking water bottle that was made in China. Like, here you go. You know, like, that is a really good alternative, especially in a moment like this. And no, it's not selling out. Because you have that skill set of painting, utilize that to your advantage.
Painting or drawing or whatever, or you can go around and get like maybe you really like decals at some point. Maybe you try decals and you're like, oh, I wish I could paint my illustrations into decals. There's a lot of people that do that.
Yeah. And then
or
you
you
could
can make them into transfers or whatever,
Yeah.
and you can transfer them out of your pots, so it makes it more efficient when you're like, oh, I can't keep up with painting every single one individually. Maybe you can go the transfer route and you can transfer the basic thing, and then you can add other color to it on top of the transfer to get a similar design, you know.
Or even basic white pots with transfers of those images and sell them for way cheaper. You know, there's a lot of alternatives that you can do with this style that you may or may not like could be taking advantage of. So.
Yeah, I wonder how her process goes if she does go, you know, drawing on paper, or if she just kind of goes at it on the mugs, you know.
Yeah. Dude, I'm jealous of anybody that can draw like that. Like, Merritt can draw like that, and it's just like, wow. It's
Yeah,
so cool.
I always wish I'm too literal with my drawings and stuff, so I'm like, it's never good enough because it doesn't look exact, and
Yeah.
yeah, I never got
I can only
skilled in
do,
that.
like, cartoon drawings, you know?
Yeah, I can't even do that. I'm definitely like a sketcher on the wheel, but I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm definitely not a sketch things out on paper. Even if it's like a form on the wheel, I'm like, why would I sketch?
I've seen
just
your
on
sketches
paper?
in our notes, Ryan. I know what they look like. They do not look like things.
Yeah. Yes, they do not. It's just like a very, very basic like stick drawing, just so there's an idea documented. It's not an exact thing, and it's not something I'm going to iterate on two-dimensionally on paper.
That's on the back of your t-shirt, right? That note that you drew. Like when we were first trying to figure out our podcast, Ryan did the longest note of all time with all of the ideas, and then in the middle of the note there was like this weird box sketch.
of our cover art,
Yes.
which is just our heads.
It was so bad. And it's on the back of your shirt, I think.
Yes, not the shirt I'm wearing, but yeah.
No, but I printed him out a shirt for his birthday.
Yeah.
And
I wore that over the weekend.
yeah, I saw that. And it's on the back. That's hilarious.
Yes. But yeah, definitely. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, and then there's some people that are they like illustrating enough that you can take those and put them onto like tea towels or whatever and like screen print them.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could put them on cards or something like that
Mm-hmm.
you said stickers, but yeah, there's some options out there if you like that
I say
aspect.
stickers because it literally, you just click a button and they get ordered to you.
They're sent to you. Yeah.
Like you can't not make money if you have good stickers at a show or whatever. Now people will steal them. You have to watch them, but
some people are like, oh, I can't spend. Once they get to the point where the mugs are like $50, they're like, I can't spend $50, but I really like this graphic, and it's just a card. They're like, oh, I can give that to somebody, like or I can take that and frame that or whatever. Yeah. It's like a $5 card. That's a print.
And look at that, we just made you a painter, all in one day. I'm kidding. You probably are a painter.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe she sketches on her iPad or whatever. I'm sure you can convert those to prints, right?
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, totally. That Totoro mug. I love it.
For me with like adding new styles, I'm more of a usually I don't go out there looking for new things to be making. I am more of a person comes to me with a custom idea. Like somebody was at a show and they liked a cereal bowl I had and they were like, I would love this for soup. Can I have you custom make me a bowl with a handle on it? Which is just my cereal bowl and just put a handle on it. And I made it to her needs or whatever, and I sold it to her for, I don't know, $35 or $30 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, that wasn't that bad. Like, I like putting handles on mugs. I could put handles on some bowls, and I made, I've got like 10 soup bowls in my studio now that are glazed and ready to go. And I'm like, I took a few to a show at the show I did in May, and then, I sold maybe one of them or something. But, I'm usually very cautiously going through that. Did I like making it? If I did, maybe I'll make 10 or 20 of them. I'm not going to go all out and make 40 of them, but I'll make a few and then see how they go. Take them to shows. I'm thinking about selling them online. I don't know. I feel a little iffy whenever I make one-offs like that and I have extras and I'm like, hey, I have these on my stories. If you want them, buy them, because I never like prepare to say, hey, I'm going to do a story sale in 2 days. I'd rather do it like impromptu and be like, hey, I've got these stories, these pieces that I'm going to show. These are for sale. If you want them, DM me or whatever. Yeah. Or maybe I'll just pop them on my Etsy shop. Maybe that's a good way to like draw people to your Etsy shop on a frequent basis or whatever, to your website. And just drop them on there randomly and say, hey, I just put these on there. If you want them, go get them.
Yeah. The luxury of the people that don't sell out.
Yeah. So that's a way to go. And then if I do like them, I'll add them, see if they sell. If they don't sell that well and I don't enjoy making them that much, then I'm probably not going to continue making them. But like those cocktail jiggers that I made, those were from a custom. Somebody asked for that. Of like, remember. Hey, can I get one that's a 2 ounce and a half ounce? And I was experimenting making them and stuff. And then I made an extra, I think I made like 12 or something because I wasn't sure. I was really guessing on the amount of liquid they could hold. So I was just kind of spitballing what options I needed for its sizes. And then gave them options on color combos of like what the glaze should look like. And then I ended up delivering those. And then I sold the extras for I don't know, $30 or something, or 32 or something like that. So I just made a set of 30 recently, and those were fun to make. Those are easy. Those are 2 shot glasses, literally slipped and scored and stuck together. That was pretty easy. So, and they look cool. We use them at home. So
Yeah,
well,
no,
I
they
haven't
look
used
great.
one of those at home, but it's like, where are you gonna get a cocktail jigger that's handmade? I don't know.
Not very many places.
So I'll probably do that through like an Etsy restock or something. I'll just put them up there and be like, hey, I've got these up here. If you want them, go get them. So
Can I? Is it like out of line for me to maybe suggest something
for her,
to Speckled Mountain Ceramics? If you don't want to listen to this next part, just turn it off. And it's not anything bad. I just was looking at your mugs, and I asked if it was out of line, but I'm going to say it anyway. I was looking at your mugs, and you may want to consider making your lips of the mugs a little bit thinner. Maybe do, instead of flat on the top, maybe do an angle down on the inside so that they are a little bit more thin on the rim, so that there's it's a little bit less thick. So it's more of like drinking out of a thin, like a glass cup or something like that, you know.
oh, I see.
It's
So the
just
lip
a
is like
little-
what is it, like a 1/4 inch?
Mhm.
No, it's thicker than a 1/4 inch.
Yeah, even if you just maybe rounded off the lip a little bit, that's all I would recommend.
It's like, yeah, it looks like it's probably a 1/4 of an inch wide, maybe a little 3/8 of an inch wide.
Yeah, so
So you're saying just thin it off, or use like a rib or something on the rim,
yeah,
and angle it inward,
just angle
so that
it inward just a
it
little
comes
bit,
to
so it comes to a little bit of a finer point. That's what I would probably recommend. I noticed that it's fairly consistent. That's the only reason I'm saying it. So just put your lips on it, and then put your lips on, like, I noticed that you had those the China mugs, which I fucking love, on there. Put your lips on a China mug, like that one that you even used in your video, and then put your lips on your mugs and notice the difference. And yeah, that's what I have to say.
Is this what people would expect in a critique from you?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't. Well, yeah. I don't know.
You know something that I did notice with that I did not think that I would like, but I do like it now that I've used a piece with it, is Tara and Matt's mug that they have has a flared out lip.
Yeah, flared out lips are great.
And it's like perfect because you can like rest your bottom lip like right in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I would hate it because
Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't aesthetically look as good to me, but I'm like, oh, it functions so
Yeah.
good when you're drinking out of it.
In my opinion, flared out mugs are absolutely hideous. However, they're ergonomically correct. And same with ergonomic handles. Like a correct
True ergonomic ones are ones that look like they're like, what do you mean?
So a long time ago, I got a request to make this mug that had the most hideous handle I've ever seen in my life. It is the most comfortable handle of all time. It was a 2-finger handle, and then it swooped down, and it had a spot for you to rest your third finger under.
Mm-hmm.
And it was booped out a little bit, so you can like just rest it there.
So you rest it underneath the handle part?
Yeah, so it looked like a question mark.
Oh.
It looked like a question mark, so it was out so it wasn't like resting against the mug.
Oh.
So your
Yeah,
fingers
that
were
does look like
straight.
it'd be weird.
Yeah, your fingers were straight when you held it, but it was wonderful.
Ugh.
And I was talking
It
to the
looks
lady that asked me to
terrible.
remake the handle, and she's like, "I know it looks terrible, but it's so fucking comfortable." And I was like, "It's so frustrating when they're really comfortable and ugly." Like,
But then there's handles that look like a work of art,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, that is the most uncomfortable handle
true that.
I've ever held.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah, there's a line between like how thick the handle needs to be, how wide, like thick, just the the slab of clay thickness, and then there's like the width side to side.
Yeah. No one will ever, 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 ever agree on handles. And so I was watching. I follow this guy that's father of daughters on Instagram, and the other day on his stories, just out of the fucking blue, he's like, "I have something to talk about. I have always held my mugs with one finger, and I just learned that my wife holds her mugs with two fingers." And then he went on this like 15 long story about how people should be holding their mugs. And like how
people should be holding
like
their mugs.
how people do hold their mugs, and then like asking questions, and it's just like, we look at this as potters as something, a normal conversation. This is just like a normal conversation that we have every single fucking day, and then most people are just like completely oblivious, and then they realize
how
that it's
people
such
hold
a
their
thing,
mugs.
and then they realize that it's an actual thing.
And then every day we're talking with customers about like mug body shapes and how it's narrower at the top so it holds the heat in, and they're like, yeah, I love it. And,
I love that.
The handle doesn't get hot like it does on other pieces, and
even though it doesn't get hot on other pieces, I've never had a mug that got hot in the handle. Like, where did that come from? Like, have you ever had a mug that got hot in the handle?
No, I mean, I pour hot liquid directly into the mug. I'm not heating anything up in the microwave personally.
You monster. What?
I don't do that just because I don't reheat stuff like that. I would just dump it out. But some tea like actually tastes good cold. So if you just let it sit out, like green tea,
black tea, yeah,
that's
hell
good
yeah.
cold.
Fuck yeah.
Black tea's all right cold.
Black
Lemon
tea
lift is good.
Black tea is sweet tea, Ryan.
I know, but I'm saying like
that is a complete
vanilla
contradictory.
chai. You're not gonna drink like chai cold.
I know,
that
but I just said good. Black tea, and you were like, black tea, meh. You literally drink sweet black tea in the fucking fridge. Like
that's not the same thing. When I drink black tea in the morning, I drink like lemon lift or vanilla chai or English breakfast. English breakfast does not taste good cold.
That is not black tea. That's just black tea with flavors. There's like
I know, but it is like chai. That's a specific type of tea. That if you're not drinking it like iced chai latte is different than chai.
True.
Like that can be cold and it's not that big of a deal.
I want everybody to know that Ryan and I have reached family status, and the reason is that I will never yell argue at people unless I'm in the same family as them. And this weekend, we had a full-out yell, argue, petty bickerment. It was.
I don't even remember what it was. Oh, was it what's the question you put on Instagram?
It was about men going to the bathroom.
Finish your statement. That is not the end of what it was.
It was about women going to the bathroom and then like on a first date and texting their friends and saying like, yo, this guy is great, or yo, dude, this guy's a fucking weirdo. And then I was like, and then we were like, I bet like if men, it was because there was that video of the girl and this man goes to the bathroom and the girl like picks up his phone and is like, therapy, couples therapy,
yeah,
trying to get his phone. And I was like, who the fuck leaves their phone at a table on their first date when they go to the bathroom? That's when you take your phone and then you text your friend and is like, yo, like this guy just sneezed and a booger flew out of his leg.
I said women do that. Guys do not do that.
And then
guys do not go to the bathroom and text each other about how their date's going.
Regardless of the answer, we got in a full-on like yelling match. Like friendly. A friendly yelling bickering match.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, we're family. Like normal.
And then you put it to a poll out to the interwebs. And I think it came back that
women are dumb.
Because most people agreed that men do not do that.
No, but we found out that women don't read. Because when I did the men only poll, half of the answers were from women.
I would say most people don't read. I think
that's true. Most people
you're giving women too hard of a time to just say women don't read here. Most people saw the poll, they read, they glimpsed through it, and then they voted quickly.
That is true. Yeah.
So, yes, that was a good little argument. And then I'm like, if you're going to the bathroom, a guy is desperate to go to the bathroom. Like, he's not taking his phone. The only time he's gonna take his phone and like do something on it if he's taking a shit. Nobody's standing at a urinal on their fucking phone. Much less texting their friend in the moment, like, hey, this girl's hot or whatever. She's great. I'm like, no friend is waiting on the other side.
We weren't saying
waiting
that
for
you'd
you
be
to
sitting
text.
at the, like, standing at the urinal. We were just saying, like, I would pop a text to somebody, like, on my way to the bathroom. Or, like...
No.
Yeah.
Guys are just like, where's the
But
bathroom
we're also
at?
trying to convince Ryan that he is of a different, like, breed. You are the Spock of the world. And you're like, this is illogical. And...
I'm just thinking through the scenarios. When is the time that he's going to text somebody? At what situation is he going to take his phone out? Is he going to wash his hands? Maybe not. You know.
That's gross. You should wash your hands, by the way.
I mean, I do, but I'm saying, like, is there a chance that he doesn't wash his hands?
Ryan will
What's
go
the
to the
chances
bathroom
of him
just to wash his hands.
texting somebody and washing his hands? Yeah, I'll go to the bathroom if I ate something with my hands, a barbecue place or whatever. I'll definitely wash my hands.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the conversation we had, and that's this conversation that we are having right now is very similar to how it ended then. And
That's why I overthink things for a reason. I don't just do it for nothing. It's for good reason, so I'm good at arguments.
So, yeah.
Or I can just wear you out.
Yeah, that's true. Do we have anything else to talk about? It's kind of a short episode, but I do feel like it was a good one.
Do you worry at all about, back to the question, do you worry at all that besides just the internal, like, what do I like doing, do you worry at all that customers, like, are actually losing interest? I feel like that's a self-centered thing, to feel like customers know what I've been making, and if I do something different, they're going to lose interest in me.
I don't know. I've changed my way of doing things like 15,000 times, so I think that's why it's so important for you to... I think that goes back to the whole thing of, like, it's so important for you to be your brand and for you to, like, what you've done. People are interested in you. Like, at some point, if you started producing the shittiest pottery in the whole universe, people would still buy it because they like you. And so with your pottery being consistent, you need to be consistent, and you need to be on the interwebs. Like, you need to be, like, Rebecca just started, showing her face more on the Instagram and, like, babbling on about internet problems, and she's like, people love that. And I'm like, yeah, because you're showing your face. Like, they want to see who is behind the Instagram. Like, why do you think I've had such a successful, like, I only have 10,000 followers, 11,000 or whatever, I don't know, but they're all there for me, not for my pots necessarily. Or, well, a lot of them are there for Lloyd. Let's be honest.
It depends on what you share, right? Because I share a lot of process. I feel like most people don't care about the pots at the end.
Right.
There's a sliver of customers in there, but most people care about the process of how I'm making things and what I'm making, and, the colors or whatever that's drawing my, like, entertainment value or my ability to produce content that people enjoy watching for entertainment, and not so much the finished product.
Yeah, and it's not even as important to show your face as it is just to show your personality. I rarely show my face on my Instagram, like, rarely, because I don't want to look at my face, and also, like, I don't have anything to say. Like, verbally, usually it's just I'm better at texting, but they still know me because of that. And so I think that
you're primed for, like, voiceover,
I'm
your commentary on voiceovers.
I'm primed for voiceovers. Yeah, but so
that's great.
I do think that along with your making your pots consistent, you also need to be making yourself peer. Like, people need to know who you are. They need to know your face, but also know your thoughts and your ideas and your fuck ups, and they need to be able to laugh with you. And you know, one of the most popular, a very popular Instagram account that's a pottery Instagram account. All she does is share fucking hilarious memes. Like, she doesn't even share any of her process, but people love her because all she
Nicole
does is
Dacey?
what? Oh well, that. But no, the mug and yarn. I can't remember what her name is.
I was thinking you were talking about Nicole Dacey.
She's funny too. But yeah, I think it's like, there's a reason why Nicole has blown up is because she's shown who she is. And like, she's okay with, and the same with Sarah, my studio mate Sarah. She blew up because she's a fucking weirdo in the best way possible. And she's like, she has cool shit, but also she's fucking crazy. And
it doesn't hurt that she's good to look at on the internet.
True that. She is very beautiful. I'll say it for you. She is very.
I can say that just as like, hey, it's a fact. Like,
it's a fact. She is very attractive. So like, and she's a fucking weirdo. So what's better than an attractive weirdo, you know, that jumps off of their pottery wheel that has a fucking adorable dog, like that. You know, she shows herself through videos. If you can show yourself either through videos or stories, you'll, even if you do change your style, they'll follow you.
Mm-hmm. And don't feel like you have to take it super seriously where you have to record it like, I'm going to do this really authentic thing and record it like 6 times to try to get it perfect. You know, you need to kind of go through the reps of figuring out what people like and what people resonate with. And like the whole, like, figuring out putting marble in things is like, hey, I did this one time and I thought it was funny. And also I just keep doing it because I'm like, what thing can I make that I haven't shared marble in that like would be kind of interesting?
Right. Yeah, I mean, like, Lloyd and Babs, their whole fucking journey, like, I had half of the internet involved in that. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. It's important.
And also, like, for my stuff, I feel like the Instagram side of me is its own thing. The Wheel Talk podcast side of me is its own thing. Mm-hmm. And then the, like, show, like, local person
is
its own thing.
For sure.
I'm not, and then my personal thing with, like, with, like, friends and family and stuff, it, like, it's not all threaded through pottery. And then I have my own thing with, like, work. So I feel like I'm fine with having them separate and not having everybody intermingled in all of it.
Agreed.
That's why, like, it doesn't help me necessarily to share everything on Instagram about, here's all my shows coming up in Cincinnati or whatever, because most of the people following me on there are not in Cincinnati.
Correct.
If they are, I can share it through stories or whatever, or I have links to my website. People can go find that information if they want.
Yeah.
But I feel like people are not going to stumble upon me and come to a show because they saw an Instagram post that talked about the shows I'm doing.
Right. Like, yeah, once I left Washington, my Facebook went completely dead. Like, I didn't post on there. I didn't do almost anything on there because there was no point. Like, there's still people that support me from Washington, but they usually follow me on Instagram, and, like, I have no shows. I have no anything like that. I don't live in Washington. I can't. So, like, it was for the store. Like, I couldn't, post that stuff. So, yeah, it's true. Like, keeping those things separate is totally fine. Like, having a community you and then an Instagram you, that's fine. It's totally fine.
Yeah. And I felt like I was, like, forced into, okay, I have a show coming up, so I have to do a post the week of talking about the show coming up that's only going to appeal to, like, 5% of my people that follow me, and most people are not going to give a shit. Just like what happens with other people that you follow that are in Maine or something, and I'm nowhere near Maine, so I don't care about their event that they're doing in Maine.
Yeah.
Because I can't see their stuff. So, I don't feel obligated anymore to say, like, okay, Instagram, I have to post about this show I'm doing.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to get back on Facebook a little bit more and post and the cross posting doesn't go from Instagram to Facebook anymore if you only do reels, because they don't cross post for whatever reason. So I have to post, like, images that go to Facebook. So I might need to get on that, and Rachel might help me with that. But, keeping it separate is fine. And even with, like, Wheel Talk, I feel sometimes a little bit overkill sometimes when I post on my personal page about Wheel Talk, because I'm like, a lot of people don't know about Wheel Talk because if they're not potters, they don't really care.
Right.
But if it's important enough, I feel like I will cross post it. But also, it's fine that there's a community in Wheel Talk that's just that community. And
Yeah.
there's also a community in Pot Swap that's just knows us from Pot Swap.
Right.
Like, that's fine
The
too.
best thing
I
we
don't-
ever did, although the most annoying, was create an Instagram account for each of those separately. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because imagine, like, I don't know how people do it. Like Rebecca from Maker's Playbook, like she has her Maker's Playbook account and that's it. But she doesn't make hands-on as much.
Oh,
She
yeah,
has
yeah.
she does photography and stuff, but like it's all threaded through that one account, which makes me feel like, oh, that'd be nice. But also, you know, there's a lot of balancing acts of like, what are people following you for? Are they following you for the podcast? Are they following you for your photography tips? Are they following you for, you know, what your products look like that you're photographing or whatever? But she's also like not advertising her like entertainment photography and stuff that she does kind of semi full time.
I wonder if she does that on Facebook.
I don't know. I think she just has a different website for her like event booking for photography. But yeah, it's kind of, there's different ways to do it, right?
Yeah. I'm considering deleting my Facebook altogether.
Your personal Facebook account or the like business account?
Both. I wish,
page?
I don't know why the fuck you can't have a business account without a personal account. Like, it is absolutely insane.
Can you like mute your personal account or something? Or
I don't know. Did you know my personal account posted a couch for sale in Sultan, Washington yesterday? That
your actual account, like your real one?
My real Facebook account posted my couch from 2018
Oh, for sale.
for sale.
Rachel's account does that sometimes. It'll show like Rachel posted this item for sale, and it was like Rachel renewed it or something in Facebook, and she was like, "Why did it show you that?"
I
And I'm
thought
like,
somebody
I don't know.
hacked in my account. Like, I had to change all the passwords and shit, and I've almost forgotten what I changed them to. But like, it's just frustrating. Like, I have no need for a personal Facebook. Zero. Zilch. Nothing. Like, at all. And I really don't feel like I have a need for a Facebook, business Facebook.
I mean, I think the reason you have to have the personal one is like, would you feel bad about not having any connection to like Clay Buddies? I mean, you used to be way more involved in there, but everybody in there interacts as their personal pages, right?
Right.
Or could you go to your business page and post as a business page?
I don't know. But I haven't posted on Clay Buddies in probably a year. So,
Yeah.
and I don't look at it. So I don't think that would be too much for me. But
yeah.
I just, like, I know.
But would you ever get to a point where you would want to dip back into
I don't know.
utilizing it, you know, or you would need to utilize it?
Maybe.
Because you could take it would be a little weird, but you could take your Five Lines business account and maybe you change it to something down the road and you still keep that retaining group of people that have showed interest and support for you.
In a completely different state.
And it's different. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Yeah. Who knows? But this also, we all knew this was coming, but my mom still doesn't know.
You have a podcast?
She has to know. She has to know. Like, there's no fucking way she doesn't know. I'd like, why wouldn't
Does
she?
the rest of your family know? Like, does your sister know and your brother and stuff?
I hope my sister doesn't know. I don't think she does. My brother does know, but he doesn't care. So, like...
But I bet we all have friends that have podcasts, right? But we're not the only ones that do a podcast. Like, there's probably friends and acquaintances we know that have a podcast that we don't know about.
Maybe.
Like, is that really that far-fetched?
I don't know. But, like, I think that all of my stories go to Facebook, and then my mom sees them, and then she lectures me, and then... But maybe not about that. Maybe about different things. Like, today I got a lecture about giving away my sewing machine away. 2 years ago, because I had no space. Becca, you have to stop doing this.
Oh, because you're going to start sewing your canvas bag?
Yeah.
And you don't have one?
No. And, but like, yeah, so she still doesn't know. And if I delete Facebook,
you're getting rid of that tie. that digital tie.
and
that's
then
still hanging
she'll
on.
move to a new thing. She'll learn Instagram.
Ooh.
Which isn't my objective.
Oh. Well, I mean, you could change your... Does she know Five Lines? Well, she knows Five Lines Pottery. And it's not like you're going to change the name Five Lines Pottery. Man, it is really hard. Like, if people remove their name, their, like, personal name, if you don't know their personal name or whatever, or they remove their personal name from their account, if they change their Instagram account, like, they must be gone. Like, if you don't know their name, their Instagram name, it is so hard to find somebody.
It's so hard.
Because if they just randomly change their name back in the day, it's like, if I stop following them for whatever reason or whatever, it is hard to track somebody down.
Or if you change your Instagram name and then you forget what their name was, and you're like, who the fuck is this? Like, they just show up.
Yeah, they just randomly change their Instagram account name.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, you know what's going to... I mean, I say this often, but you know what's going to happen when I finally tell my mom that I have a podcast. She'll be like, oh, I know.
Right.
I just didn't want to listen.
But you know she doesn't listen, so like the worry is that if she listens, she's not gonna like it or she's gonna be disappointed. But
Yeah.
like, what's the realist? How real is it that she would listen?
0%.
Much less no.
0%.
Yeah.
Oh.
Plus, the more content we get out there, the more like the harder it is for her to find the stuff that she might not like to hear. So
Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. And by the way, my mom just really is very Christian and does not like cussing. That's what we're talking about. That's the reason that she never heard about the podcast in the first place. Because I wanted to spare her from my dirty mouth. So.
I mean, I worry that there's people that like listen that I don't know that listen. That it's like they know me better than I think they know me, and then you come to a situation where it's like, oh man, they know so much about me, but I don't know that.
That's scary as shit.
Even with like fans or whatever that are just like other potters, like that's fine. But if it's like family friends or like somebody I work with or something, but it's like I honestly don't care. Like I'm not gonna say something different to them if I knew they listened, but it's like they know certain things about your personality that is not in that like social situation that you know them in.
Yeah,
right?
It's very eerie because you I don't know about you, but certain people in my life, I try to keep a certain narrative, about my life to them.
Mm-hmm.
And
not like false, but it's like limited.
No, not
right?
false. Not false. It's just limited for specific reasons. And yeah, for sure. And then you're like, ooh, ooh.
You're like, I have hours and hours of content out there where they can know more about me. And they probably would know more about me, but
I always loved like going on dating sites, and it's like you meet somebody, right? And they're like, oh, what's your Instagram? And I'm like, no. we're gonna not do that, because if I give you my Instagram, you have the upper hand. Not only do you have the upper hand, you are 7 years above me in what you know about me versus what I know about you, and that is
exactly.
not fair.
And it's like, yeah, because if just a Joe Schmo or whatever, like, how much do they share about their personal lives on social if there's not somebody willing to like hear them, and like, what's the reason they're sharing it? If it's not like Facebook sharing stuff, but like, what reasons do just average people have to share on social media, right?
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, how much could you really know about a Joe Schmo? You know?
Also, I have friends that like I had my best friend Teresa and her husband Brandon, like for the longest they only have Facebook. And for the longest time they knew nothing about my life, and so when I went over to their house I was like, this happened this week and this happened this week, and it was like very exciting to like tell them all the things that happened. And now that my Instagram is moving to my Facebook, Brandon sees all of my stories on Facebook. And
Right.
so I'm like, Brandon, guess what I did? I made lemon bars. He's like, I know. And I'm like, fuck.
What do people do before this? Do people volunteer that much information? Because personally, I don't just bring up stories to people when I go talk to them for a random time, or like I go see family. It's very shallow conversation. I feel like I don't just volunteer all the stuff that I shared on Instagram this week. But like, do people do that voluntarily before Instagram?
The
and
only
social
things I
media and
post
stuff?
on Instagram are the things that I'm excited about. So like when I make lemon
Right.
bars, and I brought them the lemon bars, and I was going to surprise them with the lemon bars, but then he knew about the lemon bars, and so my surprise was ruined.
Or you come by and see them and they're like, we thought you were gonna bring lemon bars.
Right.
We saw you made lemon bars yesterday. Did you bring some? It's like, well, shit. Now you kind of ruined the surprise.
Right. Like I have no problem with them knowing the information. It's just such a bummer. like it just ruins all of the joy.
Yeah, it feels like the storytelling is so watered down now that everybody, if you share it on social, then people already know about it, and it feels like you see them at a show and they like watch all your stuff or whatever, so they know what's going on in your life or in your studio or whatever. Oh, you had a nice kiln load, or hey, you had a blow up, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Exactly. It's like if somebody I meet doesn't have an Instagram, I'm like, green flag. Green flag. Yes, I'm down. Let's
Or
be
is
friends.
that like you don't know anything about them? Is that worse?
No, it's not worse. I'm totally okay with that. 150%.
Okay. You'd rather go in and like learn what they want to tell you and how they want to tell you, and
I would.
get little trickles of it.
Yeah, and then
But
you
I feel
don't.
like you wouldn't dive in and like go 4 hours on this person's account and like find out everything you can about them.
I would never do that anyway, but yes, like it's just more organic to meet people and to like have those conversations just generally, like general people. Like Joe, Sarah's boyfriend, doesn't have an Instagram, so I get to learn everything about him naturally and like through,
Yeah.
and I feel like I'm too far gone. Like
Yeah.
I have created this life for me. I do not love it. Like but I'm still going to do it because this is the life that I've created, and people are used to it and I'm used to it, and like just everybody knows my shit. And that's fine, whatever. But I really enjoy like people not knowing my shit.
Yeah. I mean, I share a lot of stuff, but I'm like, if I see you in person, I'm not gonna volunteer information. I'm a very restricted like talker. If somebody asks me something, I will volunteer that way.
True.
But if the question's not prompted, I'm not gonna volunteer stuff and just bring up ideas to talk about myself or talk about this thing that I'm doing or whatever.
Right.
Like I'll talk business all day or whatever, or pottery all day, but they have to prompt it to me.
Right.
But it's like,
That's because
you
you're
know.
not ADD, like ADHD. Like this is a thing.
because what do you mean? Because I'm like thinking about what they actually want to talk about and treading lightly.
Probably.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I'm just a very bold human, I guess.
Yeah.
I just get very excited about things.
Yeah. Like when we were doing the art walk or whatever this weekend, you were going in and talk. I'm like, I'm just here for the entertainment to like hear what Becca's going to talk with the artists about, because she's trying to like uplift their day. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to talk that much.
I
unless
can't
say
walk
something to
into
me.
a space and be awkward. Like I would rather be awkward talking than awkward silent. Like I'm going to.
I'm not awkward though. I just like intently look at pieces and like we'll look at a piece for like 3 or 4 minutes and like get real close to it, and like I'm thinking about the technique of how they did it and like the colors and all that kind of stuff. I'm more of like a silently look at pieces and stuff at an art walk than talk with the artist, I guess.
Yeah. I guess that I actually brought this up in a conversation recently where I was never uplifted a lot when I was growing up. Like, my sister and my brother were very good at everything that they did, and I was pretty good at like sports and stuff, which I know nobody would like guess that, but I was and and stuff like that. But and I don't know if this is just me thinking that I wasn't uplifted or if it actually happened. I could have been, that's fine. But so I think that whenever I meet somebody and they have something of value, I am inclined to always compliment them on that, because I feel like it didn't or doesn't happen to me. And so so when I walk in and I'm like, wow, that painting's amazing, I say it out loud because I want them to know that I genuinely love it, even though I can't fucking afford it, you know?
Right.
And I think that that's why I do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And even if they're like a 70-year-old artist that have been in the game for 30 years,
Don't
you're
care.
like, I'm still going to volunteer it.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah. I don't care. I think that at any age you can your spirit can be lifted by a compliment, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And
I'm definitely more of a like, I'll look at it and I'll appreciate it, but I'll like keep it internal.
for sure. And a lot of people are like
But
that.
they can also like see that I'm actually like trying to look at it and like actually they probably wonder what's going on in my head when I'm looking at it, but it's like, you know, I'm looking at certain things and I'm kind of like enjoying it in the moment silently.
Yeah.
I'm getting more appreciative of silence.
Mm-hmm.
The more, because I'm like, there's enough stuff going on. It's like I'd rather just like look at this thing and give me a minute to not say anything and just take this thing in the moment.
I also I feel like maybe this is kind of toxic, but also I don't know if it is or not. But also I will never be rich because because like if there is somebody that you can tell like at an art walk and they haven't been hit by like a lot of people, or like you can tell that not a lot of people are going into their space, if they have something cheap to buy, I will buy it 100%. I don't even fucking care if it looks good. I do not care. Like, because
just to give them a little uplift.
just to like just to give them a little bit, you know, of
little bump.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. The art walk was fun though. We should do that again. You said Louisville has one?
Bellevue does.
Bellevue does?
But it's not really, they don't really have they have a First Friday, but it's not like art walk like that.
I think Louisville has like a big one, right?
Louisville has Melwood Art Center. I don't know if they have, they probably have something like that on a regular basis.
I think my coworker said, I think it was Louisville that she was talking about today. Because she said Louisville.
I mean, Louisville. I mean, there's a lot of areas that have like galleries on a strip that you could walk the galleries and stuff.
Yeah.
That is not just in. Actually, there's other galleries in Cincinnati that are downtown, in over the Rhine, that have Final Friday. It's still Final Friday, but it's in a different part of downtown.
Hey.
And have gallery openings, but it's more like fine art than like working studios.
In July, if you guys aren't doing anything First Friday, you should come down up to Indy, and we should do First Friday in Indy.
Yeah, we'll need to look at the calendar and see if that's possible.
Because I'll have my spare bedroom mattress by then.
Ooh. I have a date night on July 1st, though.
Well, fuck
Is it the first Friday?
It's the first Friday.
Which is July 1st.
Fine. Well, then on August 5th.
We might be doing a tiki night in Bellevue.
You know what?
Nomad. That's where we might be doing a guest bartending spot.
Oh. You know what? You can just stop being so, like, involved. And
September 2nd, we're not doing anything, and I'm off work that day.
Okay, cool. Let's plan that.
Labor Day weekend.
Okay, I'm putting it on my calendar.
I'm putting it on mine.
I just forgot your name for a second. I like.
Oh my God. You forgot my name for a second? What the hell?
I can't explain to you the memory loss that I have. Like, it is bad. Like, people that I have known for years. Like, one of my very, very good friends texted me yesterday, and I was going to text her back, and I had to find her name, and I was like, what's her name? Oh, no. Like, shit. And I got it finally through a process of elimination, but it's bad. Oof.
I just wonder how, like, because you only know yourself, right? So it's like, I wonder what other people's brains are. Like, I wish I could just jump into somebody else's, like, brain for a day.
I know.
Or just, like, their body. It's, like, going through the motions of, like, what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, what is that really like? And how do they process, like, when situations come up? Or just, like, in discussions or whatever.
Right.
Like, your memory thing. Like, I always have a really good memory. But, like, what is the situation of where you don't have a good memory? Or you just can't, like, go through like a list or something and like organize yourself or
oh yeah, if you ever want to just jump into my brain for a day, that'd be great. The doctor today, the dentist, no, the optometrist today was like, what are you up to? And I looked at him and I was like, nothing. Like,
like, is he just making casual conversation?
Yeah, it was like the
just...
first thing he asked me. He's like, how are you? Like, what are you doing? Like, instead of how are you, it was, what are you doing? I was like, nothing.
I'm here at the dentist.
Like, I barely made it, and I parked in the post office parking lot because I missed yours. Like,
and I hope I don't get a ticket or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oof.
All right.
Anyway,
I like that little extra credit y'all got there at the end there.
Yeah, hopefully you like it as well. I don't know.
Got people to think a little bit. Maybe I mean, some people just listen to us for that stuff, so I don't know.
And some people
I don't know how people. I don't know how people are not. People are not potters and they listen to us, and then there's people that are potters that listen to us, and like only pottery people that care about just the pottery stuff.
I know Jen listens to us. One of my really good friends, Jen, best
yeah,
out of state, California best friend Jen. Yeah, she listens, and like sometimes she'll text me questions.
Like the amount of time that I have to spend listening to podcasts, I couldn't imagine listening to a podcast that is just completely different subject that I give no shits about.
I couldn't do it.
But I like the people. Like, I don't know.
I don't like you that much.
Like, maybe if there's some thread that's like relevant, like they talk about movies or something. But if it was like a Star Trek podcast of people that I know, and I'm like, ooh, is it worth listening for the personality parts where I literally don't give two shits about the content?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Like, no, for reals. Oh. I mean, I have a problem with the opposite way around too, where you just don't like the people but really like the information. Like, that's tough.
It has to come through the right like filter.
The right
like, the
sound
has to be the right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know when Aletha was like, how do you guys listen to your voice? And I was like, well, I don't. And Ryan...
I mean, I listen on Fridays before we post it, but also I get self-conscious every time I hear myself say like all the time. So... But I'm not thinking about it in the moment.
But you listen to it on 1.5 speed. So we sound like chipmunks.
Not chipmunks, but, I mean... Whatever. I found at iTunes I introduced a 1.25 times speed, so hey, if you want to try it out.
Nice. I
think Spotify's had that for a while, but
yeah, I'll never listen to our podcast, so or any other pottery podcast. But
what if we get to another like best of? Are you gonna have to?
No, I'm not doing that. That was really hard.
I feel like we would need to like put this off on a listener that is very skilled in audio or something that would be such a fan that they would want to piece that together.
I don't wish that upon anyone. Nobody.
I don't know. That is a lot of work.
I think instead of in the best of, we should just talk about our favorite things over the years.
There we go. Or we listen to some, I don't know, or we just like have a best of with somebody that's like we enjoy talking
I have an
to.
idea. What if we have a best of and we have listeners audio record their favorite things?
Ooh, and react to them?
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Feels like a lot of work on the listeners, but if we get enough listeners, they can do it.
Yeah.
We could get,
And we don't
could
even
get at
have
least
to
an hour
react
of
to them,
content
just
there.
like listeners telling their stories. Like, hey, I was listening to the podcast one time, my cat knocked over my water, and then it just like, rah, that was my favorite day of listening, something like that.
Or like I was throwing and I was yelling back at you all when you were talking about blah, 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 blah.
I'm sure Lindy was yelling at us last week when we did our English.
Talking about fanny packs. And
the fanny packs. We found out that the fanny is the front bum.
the front bum. The woman front bum.
Which makes sense because it's a fanny pack. It actually covers the front bum.
What did she call it? She didn't call it like a satchel or something. She called it she told us in stories, but I can't remember what she called it. I thought it was something with an S, but I can't remember.
Yeah, it might be a satchel. I don't know.
Like an Indiana Jones satchel?
Well, it's like, my friend in Australia, their coolers are called eskies. The napkins are called...
Eskies, like Eskimo?
Yeah, I like that.
Esky?
It's basically like Kleenex. It's a brand of cooler that they've converted into like what a cooler is. So
I'd be calling like a Yeti or something.
Exactly. And like, a caravan is their trailer. Thongs are their flip-flops. What are underwear? Knickers, right? Knickers for...
Maybe.
I don't know.
I feel like that's like an English thing.
There's a lot of crossover between English and Australian, I think.
I did see somebody that was Australian that shared a story or something that was from a post that it said like thong sandals, and it said somebody that's writing about Australia that is not Australian because it said thong sandals.
Thong sandals instead of thongs. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Crazy.
By the way, I found out the whole serialized episodic thing.
Oh, okay. Go on.
Back to the very beginning.
Bringing it around town.
Serials typically follow main story arcs that span entire television seasons or even the complete run of the series. And episodic relies on more standalone episodes.
Okay, so it is episodic.
It sounds like Star Trek, old school
is
episodic. But if you're talking like Stranger Things or whatever, that's serialized.
Okay.
Which makes sense because the podcast Serial was kind of like the first podcast that was like that.
Yeah, and like MASH is episodic.
Mm-hmm.
It won't.
But there's some that are like threaded very neatly.
Oh yeah,
like Law and Order
MASH,
SVU or like whatever.
Right, like I feel like MASH
very loose.
is very like that, where it's like you could watch the first one, then you could watch the last one, and not have to watch any of them in the middle. But if you did watch all of them in the middle, it makes a lot more sense and it hits you a lot harder. Yeah. Okay, we should go.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening.
Yep.
Thanks for everybody that's got mugs so far. Do we want to guess how many mugs we've sold so far?
No. You're gonna jinx it.
I'm gonna.
Don't.
What?
Don't.
All right. Thanks everybody for supporting us. Whether you get a mug or not.
Yes, we love you.
Especially the patrons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's our outro about the Patreon. All right.
Okay. Bye. Stop. Yo, higgity, yo. It's Becca here. Hey, just so you know, thank you for listening. And also, we have... What do we have again? A Patreon. We have a Patreon that you should go, and if you want to donate to, you could donate to it. If you don't, that's cool too. But just Google Wheel Talk Podcast Patreon. Don't do the other one. because there is a Wheel Talk on Patreon, but it's not us. So make sure you get the right one. It's in the show notes. And also, leave us a review because they're fun to read. Okay, bye!